Part 23's Tornado Intensity. Tornado intensity is the measure of wind speeds and potential risk produced by a tornado. Intensity can be measured by in situ or remote sensing measurements. But since these are impractical for wide-scale use, intensity is usually inferred by proxies such as damage, the Fujita scale, enhanced Fujita scale, and the international Fujita scale rate tornadoes by the damage caused. In contrast to other major storms, such as hurricanes and typhoons, such classifications are only assigned retroactively. Wind speed alone is not enough to determine the intensity of a tornado. And if a tornado may damage trees and peel some shingles off roofs, while an F5 tornado can rip well-anchored homes off their foundations, leaving them bare, even deforming large skyscrapers. The similar Toro scale ranges from a TO for extremely weak tornadoes to T11 for the most powerful known tornadoes. Doppler radar data, photogrammetry, and ground swirl patterns
may also be analyzed to determine the intensity and assign a rating.
Tornadoes vary in intensity regardless of shape, size, and location. Though strong tornadoes are typically larger than weak tornadoes, the association with track length and duration also varies, although longer track
Tornadoes tend to be stronger. In the case of violent tornadoes, only a small portion of the path area is of violent intensity. Most of the higher intensity is from subvortices. In the United States, 80% of tornadoes are rated F4 or F1,
equivalent to TO through T3. The rate of occurrence drops off quickly with increasing strength. Less than 1% are rated as violent.
F4 or F5, equivalent to T8 through T11.
History of tornado intensity measurements. For many years, before the advent of Doppler radar, scientists relied on educated guesses for tornado wind speed. The only evidence indicating wind speeds found in the tornado was the damage left behind by tornadoes that struck populated areas. Some believed they reached 400 miles per hour.
Others thought they might exceed 500 miles per hour, and perhaps even be supersonic. One can still find these incorrect guesses in some old until the classics in literature, such as the original Fujita intensity scale developed by Dr. Tetsuya Theodore Ted Fujita in the early 1900s. However, one can find accounts, be sure to scroll down,
of some remarkable work done in this field by a U.S. Army soldier, Sergeant John Park Finley.
In 1971, Dr. Fujita introduced the idea of a scale to measure tornado winds. With the help of colleague Alan Peace, he created and introduced what came to be called the Fujita scale in 1973.
The F in F1, F2, EC2, EC stands for Fujita. The scale was based on a relationship between the Beaufort scale and the Mach number scale. The low end of F1 on his scale corresponds to the low end of B12 on the Beaufort scale, and the low end of F12 corresponds to the speed of sound at sea level, or Mach 1. In practice, tornadoes are only assigned categories F through F5. The Toro scale, created by the Tornado and Storm Research Organization,
Toro,
was developed in 1974 and published a year later. The Toro scale has 12 levels which cover a broader range with tighter graduations. It ranges from a TO for extremely weak tornadoes to T11 for the most powerful known tornadoes.
To T1 roughly corresponds to Fujita, T2, T3 to F1, and so on, while T10, T11 would be roughly equivalent to F5. The highest tornado rated to date on the Toro scale was a T8.
Some debate exists as to the usefulness of the Toro scale over the Fujita scale. While it may be helpful for statistical purposes to have more levels of tornado strength, often the damage caused could be created by a large range of winds, rendering it hard to narrow the tornado down to a single Toro scale category. Research conducted in the late 1980s and 1990s suggested that even with the implication of the Fujita scale, tornado winds were notoriously overestimated, especially in significant and violent tornadoes. Because of this, in 2006, the American Meteorological Society introduced the enhanced Fujita scale to help assign realistic wind speeds to tornado damage. The scientists specifically designed the scale so that a tornado assessed on the Fujita scale and the enhanced Fujita scale would receive the same ranking. The F scale is more specific in detailing the degrees of damage on different types of structures for a given wind speed, while the F scale goes from F4 to F12 in theory. The F scale is capped at F5, which is defined as winds at miles per hour.
In the United States, the enhanced Fujita scale went into effect on February 2, 2007 for tornado damage assessments, and the Fujita scale is no longer used.
End of part 23.